Tom Winslow,
Here.
Elaine Daly,
Here.
Aileen McNabb Coleman, to excuse Ben Vitale.
Present.
Okay, this to approve April 10th, 2025. I need a motion.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Now passed, there is no appointments. As far as presentations go, I've been asked for privilege of the floor for 3 minutes for a quick discussion from Andy from the IDA on partnership with all the county agencies. And he's got some information that won't take long. Andy?
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Bob. We've been working on the IDA and actually Ben was on board to create a little ad hoc group to start looking if we could do something about creating a one-stop shop partnership for economic development. And our thought is it'd be a loose organization and we would work collaboratively using the existing organizations. So under this partnership, we'd include the county planning and economic development, the IDA, CCDC, CAPUSA, Cayuga County Water and Soil, Chamber of Commerce, and the Small Business Development Center. And you know, any other economic group that would want to join. Basically, it's a little ambitious, but what we'd like to accomplish this year is to set up a single contact point for economic development. So a one-stop shop where the businesses could go and, you know, all the work wouldn't be in their organization, but it would be deferred out to the IDA or CEDA or wherever else, CCDC or wherever else. So what we're thinking about is, like I said, have that one-stop contact point, establish a centralized office space where the organizations could, you know, get office space if they wanted, or if they had their own space, they could stay there. Centralized phone number. And I don't know if a lot of you are familiar, but you can get these PBX systems on the internet, or relatively cheap. So you can have a phone number that you call, and then it's like the, you know, hit 1 for sales, 2 for service. But instead of that, we would do, you know, 1 for CCDC, 2 for the IDA, 3 for small business. And then we would also, and then those phone, when you hit the 3, it would be transferred to whoever's phone number is associated with that. And then the other thing we'd like to do is have a centralized website to represent the county. And it would have you know, you'd click and it would point to the other organizational's websites. So what we'd like to ask for would be about $56,500. And that would let us get the office space, build out the office space, get the virtual PBX phone system, do the website development. And the IDA had paid SBDC $12,500. So we could consider it, we'd like to get reimbursed for that.
Yeah, me too.
I got tons of answers. Not all of them are good though. Yes.
Well, I guess I don't. I'm just trying to get this clear in my head.
Sure.
You're asking if the county would consider funding office space for some kind of collaboration with certain organizations that don't have current office space right now or are just working out of somewhere else?
Yeah, like for example, the IDA, CCDC.
They don't have their place they call home.
Yeah.
And in your mind, the benefit would be that no one organization owns this. These are all county organizations and the county itself is the landlord.
Yes.
So there's no
Yeah, and we were in two State Street before,
Yep.
and so that all,
The IDA was,
the idea was,
As in seated.
well,
Yeah.
CETA was there. Were you, CCIDA was there as well, or they didn't have staff
We met
then?
there, we met there.
We had a meeting space.
yeah. Well, and Mike had an office space there
We shared staff.
before, we had shared staff.
Do either of the does any organization you envision being here have staff, or they all, this is all like a funding a meeting space? I'm getting.
Right. So I think initially, first off, we'd like to get the office space. And I think it's prohibitive for each group to get their own office space. It'd be better to do it collectively. And then I think it also would present a better front for businesses, because if they came in, you know, the SBDC would be there, CCDC would be there, the IDA. So you wouldn't have to run.
And the
The three
SBDC is currently at State Street,
They're at the Chamber of Commerce now.
on 2 State Street. Because I didn't even know where they were when they came and presented.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you envision the county paying rent for a space, and there would be actual staff from various organizations sitting there, or just it's a meeting room
No, there'd be actual staff.
that all report through the county's
Yes,
organizations?
yes. And we haven't quite got this far, but I would expect that, like the IDA had hired Mike Miller as the director.
Mhm.
Well, he's got a little more bandwidth, so maybe he could take on some additional duties for the other groups. And I've been talking to some of the other organizations, and we might be able to get some of their staff on a part-time basis. Like one of the things we have right now is we're spending a lot of money for the bookkeeping and the Paris reports. And I think there's a potential to share some effort there.
So CCIDA currently has staff, but they don't have any location? I mean,
Yeah, we have a director, we're contracting out the,
fiscal stuff,
yeah,
but you don't have a home?
and we don't have a home.
So Mike
So
works.
Michael Miller works at
Remote.
home remotely.
Mostly he's at home, and then if he needs some office space, he'll borrow some space from the city or the water and soil and water group. So it's a little hodgepodge right now.
And just my last question then, Brian, what did you pay the small business 12,000 for?
Like 12,500. Ben, do you remember?
Yes. For the contract for them to do the work for the county,
To do what? The small business development
for the
assistance?
county. So when
County?
people from Cayuga County call and they need help, and small business is the one that can give that help,
Oh,
then they're there to do it.
I thought they
We
was,
didn't have a contract with them.
I thought it was regional, that they came from,
It is regional, but everybody in the region has to pay into it.
okay, that's the county's contribution for having.
So
the
if we-
resource.
So if we didn't do it, then the county wouldn't have access to it,
Gotcha, okay.
And they're in the county, I believe, 4 days a week,
maybe two.
too.
So if the county's gonna invest in this collaboration, and that's part of economic development, pick up the cost of the county share for them to be in Cayuga County.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, she answered a lot of my questions. I don't know what questions left, but I just logistically, so is it like one of the things, somebody's gonna call, they're gonna get a person and they're gonna direct them to what department they need to be in? Or are they calling like your call center where they're calling each individual company and then it's like, because that wouldn't, to me, it almost needs to have like a central location of a phone call, because I wouldn't know who to call, right?
Right, and I think what it would
So it'd
be
be
is,
one number for everybody.
well, it would be one number, you call it, and it would say, all right, if you want the idea, it's one, CCD two, boom, boom, boom. And then the last option is you hit O if you want to talk to a person.
And then they would direct you to what department, right?
Yes.
So the ideal is that if you guys are in one location, you're sharing the same resources.
Yes.
Like, so is there a savings on that you can come up with? Like, obviously, you have a one rent, one heating bill possibly, right? If it's the ideal space. And because it might look like, you said like 56,000, is that just to get the wiring or like?
The rent, maybe.
The rent, because is that for everybody together, and what are people paying now? Like, what are the individual ones paying now?
Right, the rent would be about 30,000
30,000, okay,
For the rest of the year?
a year.
yearly.
Annually, okay.
Okay, so it's 30,000 annually.
Yeah.
And is there rent being paid by any of those four groups now?
I don't think so.
No,
No, I don't think
There
so.
will be.
There will be.
They've offered to contribute to building or whatever we.
So is this solely, like, do they have budgets, each individual organization? Do they have a budget already that they'll be contributing, or is the 30,000 solely coming from the legislator?
well, I would anticipate the 30,000 would just come from the legislators.
Okay, I'm not opposed, to it. I just want to know, like, if they're paying $5,000 now, it's not really,
So hold on a second. You said that none of them are paying for office space now? Chamber pays for office space, water and sewer pays for office space.
I don't,
They don't need to.
we've talked to the various organizations. I don't anticipate the chamber and the Cayuga County Water and Soil would move into the common space.
what common space are you speaking of? You haven't signed a lease, do you have some
We have
idea?
not signed-
Identified a property?
We've looked at a few spots.
So this is give you a budget to work with?
Yeah.
Okay, so are those, like Ben said, did you answer that? Are they paying rent now?
No, I don't think so.
The Cayuga County Water and Soil is, they're at the soil and water, but they would probably stay there.
Right. And you're not talking about Water and Sewer Authority doing any of this, right? None of them have paid.
Can I get my?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Soil and water, I'm sorry.
All right, can you tell me the organizations that you're talking about, the one-stop shop? Just repeat them again, okay?
Sure.
The whole alphabet.
The whole alphabet, so. And there would be various,
Also, okay.
so we would include CCIDA, CCDC, CCPUSA, Cayuga County Water and Soil.
Water and sewer, you mean?
Yeah, water and sewer, I'm
I
sorry.
see it right here, okay.
Yeah, the Chamber, Small Business Development Center.
And none of these people are paying any rent? And like, well, how they all working remotely?
No,
No, Cayuga
Your point,
County
they are
Water and Sewer has their own office space at the soil.
Okay, but what about the rest of them?
It's for the small business. They don't have an office space yet. They're right now, they're in the chamber building.
Yeah,
They would be included.
So they're there for,
Yeah,
been there for free.
the CCIDA and the CCDC all need office space. So there's three right there.
in Capusa.
And Capusa, and they would all share this office space. Those are the ones that don't have space.
small business does have office space. They pay rent to the chamber.
Yes,
They're renters. Oh,
All right. They don't.
So if they're paying that'd be going away,
for the small business.
right? So do you know how much they're paying for the chamber?
would they actually move to your new location, or you would just be working in cooperation with each other?
Yeah, I'd leave that up to them if they wanted to move or not.
I was just wondering if they're contributing the same amount they would be paying the chamber. That's the question I'm getting at. So if they're paying what X, would the X be, is it, would you need that with the 30, or where would that money be going currently now? That's my only question.
Right.
And that's just a question for you. I know you don't know it, but you'd have to ask now.
We can find out, but they wouldn't.
But I'm not opposed to this.
What if, I don't know if this might help you, but what if they were to prepare a list of the organizations, who's on the board, who the head person is of the organization.
Mhm.
And then if they're renting office space, where and how much space.
That,
Would that be good?
that'd be
Yes.
great.
And
Yeah.
do these particular organizations have employees? Or it's just a board, volunteer board? I don't know.
Yeah, out of, the IDA has one employee,
And a consultant for finance, you
yes,
said? So
Two.
two,
right?
yep.
CCDC, I think they just have a part-time,
Guy that does the loans. Mhm.
yeah. Capusa has no one,
No.
Everybody has paid employees except for Capusa.
right?
How often does Capusa meet?
Once a month.
Once a month.
Once a month?
What was the question?
I was wondering how often they met, because like, there's two people in there, right? But it's fine, but you still need an office. I'm not saying, just saying how big of an office you're looking at, do you know?
Well, I would anticipate that the IDA would probably want two offices. CCDC would want a part-time shared office. And then Capusa would be a shared office. The chamber would probably stay where they are.
Yes, of course.
The small business would be a part-time office and they may select to stay where they are.
Can I ask one more?
Yeah.
One more.
Well, let's see if he's done first.
Okay, are you done first?
I'm done.
Okay. If someone was to say, okay, what's in it for the county to do this? The answer would be primarily for these three organizations, CCIDA, CCDC, CCAPUSA, to ensure without a funded organization that there's one place that people could go for these three county organizations, and it would ensure some form of collaboration. I mean, is that really what the intent is?
Yes, and I think a lot of that would be driven by
Being in the same place
being
together?
co-located, can we share the director? The phone number and then the common website. And so does that at least give us a common one-stop shop presentation to the world? Where right now, with CETA being gone,
Mhm.
we've kind of lost that.
No, I get it. You call and then who you, like, where would you start? You call, like, how would somebody get a hold of you guys?
When people call now, it goes to either the IDA or the city. And the city and the IDA, and I think, Carrie, you meet with them every 2 weeks or something like that. They decide who needs to deal with who and stuff, so it's not being ignored.
No, and even I talked to Amy at the Chamber of Commerce, and she said they'll get phone calls and they'll direct them to Mike or whoever they need to go to. This just gets it a little more formal, and we can present a little more of a common face to the rest of the world. And I think it's a pretty minimal cost.
So what was the information that you thought might be helpful to?
A list of the organizations,
Yep,
who's on their board, who's their lead person. If they're renting an office space, how many square feet are they renting? And you might want to say how much they might need if they didn't have office space currently.
Yeah, I'll get that all for you.
I think the clerk, Andy, might work with the clerk to get that out to all the legislators. Amanda's not here or whatever, but
I'll make a note and I'll talk to Matt if you want.
thank you.
All right,
Thanks, Andy.
thanks for the question.
Expect, Bob said it was gonna be quick, and I guess it wasn't, so you answered all the questions.
I was quick going through.
you
Yeah.
did kind of spring it on us, so it's like.
Yes, and
Yes,
I apologize, but I thought at least we get the ball.
Yep.
Just
Thank you.
to start a discussion, so. Carrie?
I'll try to be quick.
Heard that before.
I know. This time I'm really gonna try. So you have my report. I don't have much to add to that, other than I want to extend a huge thank you, one, to legislator Winslow for volunteering to sit on our steering committee for the countywide BOA project. And also to legislator Shea for offering to sit on our steering committee for the strategic plan. Really looking forward to working with both of you on both of those projects. And
This town sitting on, I miss it.
the BOA, the Brownfield Opportunity
Oh, okay.
Areas.
Those two
Planning?
grants, yep.
Yep. I think they both had great insight to bring to us, so we're excited. And then we'll let you know, it's not in my report because it just happened yesterday. I had the opportunity to attend and participate at the County Tourism Summit. That was over in the pavilion. It was well attended. Thank you, Heidi, for coming. I was honored to sit on the panel for that, and I was able to bring my whole staff. I think it was a really good, engaging event. Any questions on my report this month?
Well,
Still chipping away at everything. There's not anything shockingly new at this moment, though, but we're kicking off both big countywide projects this month, so there'll be updates soon on those.
Any questions, Lieutenant?
Just have one resolution tonight. Yep, sorry.
I'm not on the committee, but if I could.
Yes, sir.
My question is, how did your town halls go regarding I know there were like town halls for the three village areas along 90
Oh,
around those grants.
for the
Were they well
DRI,
attended and
yes, all of those meetings were well attended. All of that work wrapped up with the consultants last fall. And the consultants have submitted to the governor's office the strategic investment plan for the DRI for Cayuga, Union Springs, and Aurora. We have been waiting for the budget to get passed and approved to be able to get the award announcements on those specific projects. So hopefully those are coming soon.
Okay.
Yeah, we have just one resolution, so it's noted, item 4 on my report. We're moving ahead with the, small project grant fund for the village of Moravia. You may recall last fall, the village reached out and asked us as the county to contract with the state on their behalf to do this. Part of the award includes $30,000, 10% of the total to hire consultants to do the day-to-day nitty-gritty work with property owners, work that our staff is just not set up to do. Architectural engineering, getting contractors on board to do the building improvements and all of that kind of stuff. So it takes the bulk of the work off our staff, leaves very minimal work for my senior planner and I, as far as just submitting payment requests back to the state on behalf of the property owners. So this is awarding the contract to a company that's been well vetted by the state. They had an excellent proposal that they gave us. They're going to do an hourly rate not to exceed the total amount available of $30,000 for the work to get this done and make some great improvements down in the village of Moravia.
Okay. Great. Entertain a motion for PL 1.
I'll move it.
Second.
Second.
Al, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Anything else for me?
Nope. Thank you. Ellie?
Good evening. I will share a couple of highlights of one. We just did our STEM event, youth event. I think I've been talking about it for a year now, but that just happened last Thursday. It was great. We had about 72 participants, youth and guests. So that was great. Great turnout. Thank you. Heidi was one of our volunteers and Carrie for attending. So it was a great event. Very happy with the way it turned out. A couple other things that's not in my report. Starting to work on our early stages of our budget because our budget starts in July. Good news is that overall with our federal funds, it is in the budget. So we're good with that. Draft numbers are in. I haven't seen them yet. I'll see them a little bit on Monday. And then our final budget will be approved in June through the Workforce Development Board. So happy that that funding is intact. And then also today, good news is that our youth funding through OTDA for our summer program and the year-round youth employment program it is in the budget, ready to go through approval with the state, but their timing, it looks very promising. So for employment and training, that's all excellent news for our funding. So it looks like we'll be able to sustain the way we have been. And then working diligently with Fred and Jonathan on improving our workforce development board. So we have 4 new members appointed, 2 of them here today, Karen and Brian. So thank you guys. And that will really help. The workforce development board has been primarily made up of Cortland County members, and they do impact, our budget. So bringing that board to be more equitable is a good step for Cayuga County. We're moving in the right direction. So happy to report that. And other than that, I don't have anything else to share.
Okay, any questions for Kelly?
I just was curious, how did you get finally the equity in that? You just kind of got people willing to serve and you
Yes.
push back a little bit?
Just reached out to those that I think can advocate for this county, and it's hard to get buy-in and support, unfortunately. So just worked hard in finding the right people and, getting people to see what we do. And that helps, I think, because a lot of us don't know what we do at employment and training and what we do for workforce development. So just really talking more about our programs, kind of always been like I say the hidden gem in the county. But just really talking to businesses, employers and colleagues and just promoting it. And I'm very happy with the 4 opportunities.
Great.
Great job.
Thank you.
Any questions? Good. Thank you, Kelly.
Great, thanks.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. Just a couple of highlights from my report. One is we had, over the April break, we offered what's known as youth quality care of animal certification. So we have 53 of our 4-H youth that are now certified in that. Goes a little above and beyond some of their regular education that we give them around taking care of their animals properly, being cognizant of some things that consumers are concerned about when it comes to care of animals. And then we've also just launched in the last 2 weeks a new program called Seed to Supper, which helps folks maybe that don't normally have the resources to get into gardening to do that. So we've started a program with container gardening, and we're working with Booker T. Washington Center and some of the senior citizens there to get that program off the ground. And then also really hoping that it dries out soon.
Yeah.
It's great. Is that it? Any more questions for Dan? No? Thank you, Dan. All right, Carl's not available, so we'll leave it to Doug Delastrito.
Good evening, everyone. You do have my report in front of you. A couple things I want to highlight. The Friends have started. They've actually engaged 2 individuals, one to do fundraising, one to do administrative support as they start to raise funds for the playground project. So obviously that's something that we're looking forward to. We did have the assistance of Carrie's team and John Evans from our grant writer in producing and submitting 2 pretty important grants over the past 2 weeks. One is to hopefully fund a lot of the bridge project that we have on Fleming. And another one is the municipal public parks and recreation grant that came up, which would, if we were awarded, it would be $1 million toward the support of the playground project with only a 10% that we could do in kind here within the county. So whatever you do, fingers crossed, pray, whatever it is that you can do, those would be great to move those projects forward, obviously, to support those. Other than that, I take any questions on what's in there. I don't have any resolutions, which is a little uncommon, so.
Any questions for Doug? Thank you, Doug.
Thanks.
Okay, and that concludes the evening of finance. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move it.
Thank you. Second by Tom, all in favor?
Aye.
Want to take a 5 minutes? Start by, Oh, the meeting in order. What time is it? I don't know exactly time, if I need the time or not.
4:39?
4:39.
All right. Okay, let's do roll call. Elaine Daly,
Here.
Heidi Nightingale,
Present.
Tom Petra. Mark Strong is excused. Motion to approve the minutes for April 10th, 2025.
Nightingale?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So, all right, we'll start off with, there's no appointments, and is Sheila available? Is she online?
Sheila's away for a day or two.
Okay. All right, we'll skip over. Fred, any updates, anything to say?
Nothing for me. I had an interview on Friday. Candidate looks promising. We need to button up a couple things and hopefully I'll have something for you maybe next month.
Do you mind saying what social services, what type of lawyer?
Oh, from the county attorney's
For the
office.
county attorney? Okay.
Social Services also did a interview last week. My days run together. Good candidate. I think he's been approached. I just haven't heard back as to whether it's a yes or a no.
Okay, good luck with it. Good luck.
Yes.
There's no, we'll skip over to county clerk, Tom Bunn. I think you have a resolution, so if you want to introduce, do you have a?
Yeah, good evening. So you have my report. I've provided all kind of updates on all of our active projects. The two biggest things now are 63 Genesee Street. We're making good progress there. We've got a few departments moved in. We're currently pausing just for the landlord to finish up some construction work, which should complete in the next day or so. And then we'll continue on with phase 2 and phase 3 scheduled for next week. The folks that are in there are working comfortably and everything's working out well. As far as CCC goes, we've basically moved in all departments with the exception of human resources, which were scheduled to do next week. So that was scheduled for this week, but we pushed it out a week. So that's kind of where we are at with our moves. And if there's, I don't know if there's any other questions on my report specifically, but I have to answer.
Any questions for Tom?
And those will be the only departments moving to CCC.
That is correct. Everyone is listed on the report, yes.
So everybody else that we have at 2 State Street stays there.
Stays there. Yep, correct.
While you're right here, Tom, unless there's any questions, anybody want to talk about GO1? You want to talk a little bit about that or?
So basically what the resolution is it authorizes the entrance into agreement with the city of Auburn for managed IT services. Basically what that'll allow us to do is cities approached us for IT support, various IT support. I've met with the city manager various times over the last few months to talk about what that looks like. And we have kind of, we have a high level of what we need to do to kind of support the city. As far as IT goes, we got about 4 or 5 projects that we have identified over the course of the year that need to be, that we can look at and definitely assist with. There's also some opportunities to look at cost savings, merging some softwares together, hardware opportunities to kind of leverage to help both sides, the county and the city, to save money long term. So basically the idea would be we would hopefully jump in June and start right away with some of their projects and at the same time evaluate cost opportunities for savings over the course of this year with the expectation of next year, hopefully entering into a multi-year agreement.
Okay, so GO1, authorizing the chair of the legislature and chief information officer to enter into agreement with the city of Auburn for information technology management services. Can I get a motion?
I'll move it.
Nightingale second.
All in favor?
Discussion.
Oh, discussion, sorry. Excuse me.
Tom, in the last resolve, I just want clarity with the contract. The cost not to exceed 108,000 for the city.
To pay the county.
That is correct.
Right, to pay the county. I want to make sure it's coming our way.
Yep.
And that's what I understood from the presentation you did before and what Chairman Anna had talked about in his last legislative. We also have the opportunity probably for shared services.
Yep. Yes.
So there's a lot to gain from this. It's wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Sorry, we're discussing. Any more discussion?
I had asked Lynn, I think I was gonna copy you in too, that this will come into the IT budget in a revenue line, kind of as unanticipated revenue. And if and when there is other additional costs for the county, this revenue could be put into a particular line and offset that spending. Because I know there was a talk about maybe at one point an additional staff, but you're kind of feeling right now is this doesn't have to happen at this point in time.
Exactly right.
Okay,
Yes. So again, what I'll do is get in there and kind of fill out the landscape, determine what kind of services are needed. That'll probably take honestly a year. And then next year we'll have a much kind of better idea of like where we want to go and what kind of level of support, additional support we want to provide.
so you may not even make these staff changes until next year.
It's very possible, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Anything else for Tom? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Kevin?
Chairman, can we have a vote on that?
Oh, we didn't vote. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think we have a second.
We do have a second, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Kevin?
Evening, everyone. I snuck a copy of my report, I think, in everybody's area. If not, I have another one, but I think I got it out there. Keeping up with routine business, staying busy for sure. We visited with Office for the Aging, and the sheriff went to Sterling on the 4th of April and Summerhill on the 23rd of April. Wasn't a great showing, but showed we were out there working with the towns. It's always good to go out there and meet a few people and to be out in the different areas of your county. I did present to the county clerks. I think we had 10 of them, the town clerks, on the 7th of April, and that was up in Byron. And one thing I think I've mentioned is we were working with Centro. Centro is actually sponsoring veterans for free rides on their buses, and that started this week. I went to a press conference last week in Syracuse to announce that. It's all Centro, but they've been coordinating with us, and different service agencies have been providing input. And essentially, a veteran can come in or go to Centro and get a bus pass that they can scan on the bus, and they can go anywhere Centro goes. So what our part in that is that the veteran comes to us, validates their veteran status, and we fill out a form and we send them to the central office that's off Pulaski Street up north in Auburn, and they get the pass and they can keep it. It's good for 10 years. If they lose it, they got to buy another one. But the good thing is that gets veterans coming into our office, and the ones that ride the bus often are the ones that are mostly in need of services. So we get to check and see if they're eligible for any benefits that they don't know about. And we've got a checklist that we go through with everybody that comes in. And if they need some additional assistance, we can potentially give them additional assistance as well. So it's a great program that Centro is doing. I got to give them huge credit. That's why I wanted to go to the press conference. I was the only outer county that actually attended, and I wanted to show that appreciation to Centro. So that was a great event.
Kevin, they don't do this, they don't bill back the cost. They just make this available to any veteran.
Yep.
That's great.
Oh, it's fantastic. I
Yeah.
mean, we can give them definite kudos.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Hey, Centro.
But I realize that, but they don't ding us for the ride. But yes, I get
At
it.
least not yet. All I can say is right now,
Yeah, yeah.
it's we just got to validate
Good
the
point.
veteran status.
That's right.
So you're getting some, because the county does pay
Oh,
something,
yes.
yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, we
So-
do.
Part of our
So
mortgage. Is that
I
where it
guess you're
comes
getting a little bit of more money bang for the buck here with the veterans getting the rides.
Yeah.
So, wanted
So
to-
get them all on the bus there.
We've already, I say, it's only been a week. It started technically Monday, and we've already had 7 or 8 veterans come in, and which I think is actually a pretty good win. So how did you find out about this? Oh, it was on the news. I don't watch the news, so I didn't know. I just try and put it out on our Facebook, and word of mouth will spread and more veterans will find out about it. But it's a great opportunity, as I said, for them to come into our office. So remember last year, we had a veteran, Bob Geralman from Weedsport be inducted into the New York State Senate Veteran Hall of Fame. Well, I'm announcing that we have another Cayuga County veteran who's being inducted into the New York State Veteran Hall of Fame. And it's me. I didn't ask for this, but someone nominated me. And my wife was doing something cryptic one day and I didn't know what she was doing. And she was like putting together something for someone nominated me and then I went to her. And if she had told me, I would have said, no, let's get somebody else. But I was nominated, I was selected. So on the 27th of May, I'll be going up to Albany for they have a little ceremony where you shake hands, get a picture, have a lunch. And then I don't have to worry about it again, I guess. So we can keep nominating other veterans for this.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Well,
I'll be going there. Obviously, I keep mentioning this. If you have events where we could do some outreach, we're available. Just let us know. We got Memorial Day coming. The Sunday before Memorial Day, we've got the Robert Stryker ceremony up in Troop. And then our big event on the 31st of May. So 2 days ago was the 50th anniversary of us, the end of the Vietnam era. A week was the fall of Saigon. So it's been 50 years. I think everyone here is old enough to remember that. Pretty significant period in our history. And you know that the Vietnam veterans have had those thoughts coming back. So we're going to honor them on the 31st. I'm trying to pull them out. And some of them are still kind of bitter about things. But we're going to have our ceremony up in Brutus at the Vietnam Veteran Memorial on the 31st, and then we'll have a reception afterwards. And I've been talking to quite a few. We're also having a scramble, golf scramble over in Aurora to support our Veteran Support Fund on the 6th of June. The Vietnam veterans have a tribute ride on Route 38. That's the Vietnam Veteran Memorial Highway in New York on the 12th. We have several veterans going on the Fairhaven Fishing event, 18-19 July. And I think that is all the high points. Any questions?
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I believe that's it. Can I?
I just wanted to note that Keith Batman is on and he has a report.
Okay, Keith.
There we go. I needed to unmute. I was just here in case there were any questions. We submitted our.
Sorry, Keith, I didn't see you. And
I never look up there.
I thought you weren't, so I apologize. Go ahead.
Oh, no, that's fine. But I will mention a couple things that aren't in the report real quick. One is that just the you are familiar with the legislation that would move most local elections to an even year cycle. It'd be the county legislature, towns, and so on. That was challenged in court, and it was stayed. Well, the not the Court of Appeals, but the appeals court ruled 5-0 that it is constitutional. So it'll probably go on to the Court of Appeals for a final decision. Chances are it'll be appealed. But this is close enough, so we'll start some tentative planning on that. It would take effect in 2026 and then every year thereafter. It excludes bunches of people, so there's a lot to do, but there'll be a whole lot more on this than in the future. But I wanted to let you know that will be in the works. We'll be thinking about it even before it's totally resolved. And then the other thing, of course, looking forward to the resolution of the commissioner's salaries. And then you have the report. If there are questions, happy to answer.
I don't think anybody has any questions, but Keith,
Okay, well, great. Thank you very much.
thank you for your report.
Yeah, before you adjourn, if you would pass out with Fred's help, a resolution that we've been kind of talking about for a month and a half on our appointments to different committees and agency boards and stuff. And I'm not looking for any action tonight. My plan is to get the resolution in the hands of the legislature, members of the legislature. Whoever isn't here, I'll have Amanda or Sheila get it to them also, but my idea here is to get it in your hands so people can review it. If they have any questions, get answers. If Lane would like to put it on Ways and Means and have a discussion, that would be fine. Otherwise, my plan is to bring it forward at the full ledge meeting. I didn't want any surprises for anybody or anything like that. So I thought tonight would be a good time to start getting in the hands of the legislators.
If this was put on the Ways, it would be a ledge one agenda just for information and it would be out there publicly, correct?
Yes.
Yes, that'd be fine.
Unless you wanted to have a vote on it at Ways and Means and then move it to the ledge, but
Yeah,
it'll
this-
just be on for information purposes.
Yes,
If
yeah,
not,
yep.
Great, thanks.
And the purpose
I'll
is to
talk-
see overlapping, you want to give it like the purpose of it? I actually like this, so.
Yeah, it basically expands upon your resolution that you brought earlier this year.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. Okay.
I will, with everybody's permission, I'll talk to Sheila and Amanda in the morning, make sure it ends up on the agenda for Waste
As a
Management.
ledge one,
As a ledge.
Yep. or
And I would-
two or whatever.
Whatever number it is.
Yes, yep. And if
And
we
maybe
have,
they can, put in the email copy of it so that everybody, make sure everybody has it.
I will do that as well.
questions to you, Ben?
Yeah.
If there are any,
Sure.
after we look at it?
Yeah, either myself or if I'm not good enough, maybe Fred can answer them.
Okay, all right, okay.
Is there any other additional business?
Motion to adjourn. right?
Motion adjourned.
Move it. Second.
Favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you guys.
Thanks, Brian.